Good morning. Quiet day yesterday. Not much we can do when we don't have too many matches to select from. Quite obvious gap in form between the Latvian and the Andorran side there. Astana Hunadora. Well, Astana led, I think, 2-1 from the first leg. And again, an obvious gap in quality for against the Romanians. Fehervar and Omonia. Let's have a look at the first leg. 0-1 to Omonia. And yet again, it's another example of a side. Well, the gap in quality, but all of these three matches, very compelling. Well, the EFL Cup, this was what I was expecting. Wayne Rooney, football genius and connoisseur of grandmothers, got his Plymouth side the first win at home against, I'm suspecting, lower tier opponents. And you can tell that League One and the Championship. So a gap in leagues. Wayne Rooney, football genius, pulling out a 3-0 win against Cheltenham. That'll help things with the fans. Leeds and Middlesbrough, second consecutive match now that Leeds have conceded 3 goals in all competitions against Championship opponents. So we're going back to Bielsa days. We'll try to score one more than you. So if it was 0-0 at half-time, that was a potential angle. Indeed. So you could have done that one. Obvious, complete change in lineup. This is the problem we face with these cup competitions. Some sides won't take them seriously and will play a weakened team. So, as I say, not much doing yesterday, not much to really attract the attention. Professional Development League, ordinarily, you'll see goals. But looks like Moses, 6-minute goal. That would have been good for over 2.5 goals, by the way. An early first half goal. I've been discussing this with Paul. We're trying to come up with some 2.5 goal strategies. His idea is aligned with mine, that you'll get a clue for goals with the odds. You'll see this as the season progresses. Clue with the odds. 7 goals, 1.03. That kind of thing. So the shorter the odds, the greater the expectation for goals. That would be an immediate angle, but then you've got the problem that the over 2.5 goal odds will factor in the expectation for goals. So we've got to weigh up that. It's something I'm keen to try to solve, but I'm happy with my reactive trading. It's the best way for me to trade. You're waiting for things to happen. Real Madrid, Atalanta, good result for Real Madrid. Probably Mbappe on the score sheet. Indeed. Can you imagine this pairing? Jude Bellingham setting up Kylian Mbappe. I mean, what chance has anybody else got? Quite superb stuff. And on come the cavalry. Luka Modric, probably his last season. And I've got Rodrigo as well. Vinicius Jr. Wow. It's a sumptuous Real Madrid side, this one. And now they've got an approved striker. Wow. It's going to be an exciting season for Real Madrid fans. Buying the league yet again. So that was it yesterday, really. Fred against Haugesund. Well, this is, as it was on paper, you'd have expected Fredrikstad to get something out of this. More compelling, I would have expected, but getting the 1-0 win. So it was right, really, not to do anything yesterday. There was just not the volume of matches to grab our attention. We'll get that on Friday, and I might take not a day off on Friday, which I usually take a day off. But it's a more compelling coupon on Friday. We've got the return of Spain, and indeed the Premier League begins, I think, on Friday as well. But today, we've got a small matter of Europa League qualifiers and conference qualifiers. Now, we've got the volume of matches, as you can see here, to get us a potential trade. That's more like it, isn't it? We only had a smattering of about 4 or 5 yesterday. It's all about first legs, of course. So we've got a 0-2 Dynamo Minsk first leg against Lincoln Red Imps. Rapid Vienna 1-0 lead against Trab. Now, Trabzonspor are quite handy in the Turkish Super League, so they might offer something. They do need to score first. And this is what we look at in-play stats-wise. Are Trabzonspor starting to pile up the shots on, shots off and corners? Elfsberg against Rijeka 1-1. All to play for here. Poulsen against Krivbas 2-1 to Poulsen from the first leg. Market's expecting a comfortable afternoon or evening. Cercle Brugge against Molde. Two sides we know well, but a 0-3 lead for Molde. And the market's expecting a reply. So we might see a Cercle Brugge win, but Molde need to keep them to 2-0 at least. Panathinaikos and Ajax. Fascinating match. 1-0 lead for Ajax in the first leg. Just what they did against Vojvodina. It's efficient, but you're walking on eggshells with just a 1-0 lead. So they're going to have to compound that this evening. And of course, Panathinaikos must score first. Lugano against Partizan, 1-0 lead for Lugano, so it's wide open there as well. Maccabi Tel Aviv, 2-1 lead. They're normally very, very good defensively, Maccabi Tel Aviv. So I would expect them to potentially shut out Penavetsis this evening. Servette and Braga. Well, disappointing that Braga couldn't score with home advantage. They are normally goal merchants in the Portuguese Premier League. Servette given a chance, therefore, with home advantage today. Borek Banja Luka, 1-2 lead for Klaksvik from the Faroe Islands. Banja Luka, BIH, not sure where that is. Try to get my brain working on that one. BIH. Nope, it's not the Bahamas. I don't know. It could be, no, BIH. We'll find out sometime. But it's a 1-2 lead for Klaksvik. And look at the market. This is the kind of configuration I like. The market fancies the home side who need to score. Shamrock Rovers and Sedgler. I think this is 0-1 to Sedgler. So Shamrock at home was 2.7 the favourite. Market lacking confidence. Got the same with the Conference League. But I'll be here till 2025 going through the first legs for you there. But that's an obvious angle in, isn't it? When you've got something like, I think In-Play Guru had the aggregate scorelines. Oh no, was it Soccer 24? One of them had the aggregate scorelines, which is very handy to have. As you can see, for instance, a 1-1 there, all to play for. So the configuration, odds configuration I like is a home side, odds-on favourite today, and needing a goal. That's a nice recipe. You can see here, Brown against St Mirren. This is another example, probably this evening, that the SPL sides are out of their depth in Europe. It's such a weak league, the SPL. They're going to be found out. But it's a 1-1 lead from the first leg. St Mirren will be delighted with that. All hail to the Ale. Hapoel Beersheva. Normally good in Europe, but it's 1-1 from the first leg. I thought there'd be shorter odds than this. Noah's going to part the arc. He needs to in front of AEK Athens. It's a 1-3 lead for Noah. This is exactly what we're after. Did he manage to get his arc to Greece? The 600-year-old striker. AEK Athens 1.14, suggesting they're going to score the 2 goals required to get them back on parity. So this is certainly one to target this evening, particularly if my old mate Noah scores first. So just some others of interest. HJK Helsinki, 0-1 lead for them. So it's match not over. You can tell the odds as well, 2.45. Hajduk Split, 0-0 from the first leg. Odds on favourite, must score. So that's the kind of configuration I like as well. So I'll be around for these all the way through. 5 o'clock start. Hopefully it'll yield us a trade or two. We're dealing with a greater volume of matches, so we've got a greater likelihood of something popping up. Great to see Atletico Bilbao back. They had a great season last season. Don't forget to read these previews. Previews available at uk.soccerway.com. What I do, I use these previews along with ChatGPT AI to amalgamate the research. So you've got 2 different people's views. And when you go to uk.soccerway.com, you need that I. That I will tell you that the preview is available. You can see here. So Bilbao expected to come out of this opening match of the season with a comfortable win. But let's have a look. 1.44 the favourite. 2-0 in the last league encounter between these two. Iñaki Williams, we need to see him playing. He's not been whisked off by another team. Mayoral for Getafe scored 15 goals. I think this should be an Atletico Madrid win. Over 2.5 goals. Well, we don't know yet, do we? This is pure guesswork based on nothing. Let's be honest. No matches have been played. So this is where this research falls foul a little. But it's a good stopgap for me before I initiate my own research after about 8 or 9 matches played. I can't give you any angles in at the moment. This is a good stopgap, as I say. You might get something out of this, or something you might not have thought about. Perhaps correct goal scorer Iñaki Williams, for example. Real Betis, 1-1 and 3-2 for Betis in the head-to-heads. 2.37 suggests it's a tough match to call. Girona are linked with Man City, along with Stade Troyes. So watch out for those. That is the reason for the sudden resurgence of Girona last season into Champions League status. Obviously, the money bags have got to Girona. Granada and Albacete, 1.83 the favourite. Newly relegated Granada, so watch out. Another side to potentially target this evening. Newly relegated could find this to their liking. That would be my sole reason there. Albacete with Dyer away last season, failing to beat any top 15 side. So they've got to have done something about that pre-season. But I would focus on Granada. Newly relegated could find this. Spanish La Liga 2. Newly relegated could find Spanish La Liga 2 to their liking. And it's great to see Spain back. We've got Italian Serie B, Spanish Segunda to come as well at the weekend. We've got it here today, as you know, with that Granada. So that's it today. 5 o'clock start this evening. We've got our 2 gauges. We've got the first leg scorelines, which will make it a lot easier for us to generate trading angles this evening. And we've got the pre-match odds as well. If you link the two, odds on favourite at home, must score because they're down. That's a really good recipe for us to expect goals or more. And if you get the likes of Noah scoring first, as long as he doesn't park the arc, AEK Athens must reply with 2 or 3 goals. And guess what? That's what they're suggested in the market. 1.17 favourite. 1.17, as you'll learn, is 3-0, 3-1, any other home score ordinarily. But this is a strange result, 3-1. So that could. It's been absolutely dismissed by the market. I don't think a red card was involved. No. Very, very good result for Noah. So the 600-year-old lad done tremendous. Gave 110%, covering every blade of grass. So I'll see you from 5 p.m. today. And as you know, tennis is still viable, but football certainly is my bread and butter. This is where I'll be focusing. But you've got our old familiar names. Ozzy Thompson, Tiafoe. Well, a great result for Tiafoe against Musetti. This is a very rare slip-up for the Italian, who is one of those to follow. But this is the USA player in the USA, obviously delighting his home support. So I might have been tempted in there had I been playing the tennis to take on Tiafoe after that first set win. This could be more competitive than the market thinks. Zverev for Kachanov. He's a pretty solid Russian. Carino Buster Capino Ass is playing an Australian. So this could be a competitive affair as well. As long as they don't start breakdancing, we'll be all right. Rublev against Zhang. Again, you don't know much with Rublev, but this Zhang is a solid yardstick. I think 44th, getting better. Going to give old anger management a run for his money, I think. Stefanos Tsitsipas has been a bit poor. The simple rule is, when I back Stefanos Tsitsipas, he loses. So watch out for me backing him, and then you can start laying him. I can't get a handle on this bloke at all. It's cost me a few bob. Jack Draper's going to give him a game, that's for sure. Nakashima has been in good form. He's an American in America. I wouldn't pay too much attention to the ATP rankings there. So we've got some good matches, some familiar names. But this time of the season now, August to April, it is basically football all the way. But tennis is still there if you fancy it. And what I would recommend is if you go backwards and retrospectively trade, it will just keep your mind alert to possible trading angles. You've got your pre-match odds, look at the ATP rankings, etc. So for the example here, Nakashima and Taylor Fritz we know very well. So that's an excellent result, isn't it, to beat Taylor Fritz. But Taylor Fritz came back, second set. That's what we're after as well. So have a great day. I will see you from 5 p.m. onwards. Let's hope we can get a trade or two. Yesterday, as you can see, there's a handful, less than 5 or 6 matches only. So you're on the back foot already, and it's really not an efficient use of my time to be waiting up 3 or 4 hours just for the set of 4 or 5 matches. I will do it when we've got multiple matches as we had in the League Cup. And tonight, we've got plenty to choose from, and hopefully that will result in a trade or two. So I'll see you, footballtradingprofits.com members, from about, I would suggest, 5 p.m. Looks like a good starting point. Have a great day, and I'll see you for the second legs later on.